He who avoids anxiety avoids becoming himself. Søren Kierkegaard. In the vast world of philosophy, many thinkers come and go. But one name continues to echo through the centuries: Søren Kierkegaard. He wasn't interested in abstract theories. He wasn't trying to win intellectual debates. Kierkegaard wanted to understand something far more important: what it means to exist. Born in 1813 in the quiet city of Copenhagen, Denmark, Kierkegaard grew up surrounded by a household where thought ran deep. His father, a reflective and deeply spiritual man, exposed him to complex ideas early on. They spoke not just of God and sin, but of fear, mortality, and the weight of human choice. This environment planted in him the seeds of his lifelong inquiry into the human condition. Kierkegaard studied philosophy and theology at the University of Copenhagen. But even then, he found himself disconnected from what he read. The texts felt cold. Their ideas, though clever, felt distant from the real experience of living. He wasn't satisfied with knowledge that remained in books. He craved truth that could be lived. This dissatisfaction didn't lead him to abandon philosophy. Instead, it pushed him deeper into it. But he walked a different path, one that no longer sought objective certainty, but personal meaning. Kierkegaard's exploration gave rise to a concept now central to the entire field of existential thought. That concept is angst. When we hear the word today, we often think of mental illness or nervous tension. But for Kierkegaard, angst meant something more profound. It was not medical, it was not emotional, it was existential. He saw it as the deep, unsettling awareness that we are free, that our lives are not predetermined, that every moment confronts us with choice, and that those choices shape our destiny. This awareness brings not peace, but dizziness, a strange discomfort that arises when we realize there is no clear direction, no built-in map, no final authority to tell us what to do. We must decide. Kierkegaard described this feeling as the dizziness of freedom. He didn't mean this metaphorically. He meant that freedom, real freedom, feels overwhelming. When we understand that we can shape our lives, we also realize that we bear responsibility for what they become. From the moment we enter the world, we are thrown into a sea of uncertainty. We are not given clarity. We are not offered security. We are given possibility. And with possibility comes anxiety. This is the foundation of Kierkegaard's thought. He argued that this anxiety is not a defect. It is not something to be cured or avoided. It is essential to the human experience. It shows us that we are awake. He saw that anxiety stems from our unique ability to self-reflect. We do not merely react to our environment, we question it. We question ourselves, and in doing so, we begin to feel the tension between what we are and what we could be. We want stability. We want direction. But life offers no guarantees. It is precisely this paradox that Kierkegaard wanted to explore. We are beings who long for certainty, yet we live in a world that offers none. We are told to chase dreams, make plans, and build our futures. But beneath all of that lies a more profound reality. We do not know what any of it means. This existential condition leads to angst, and it is not optional. If you are human, you feel it. Kierkegaard understood this better than anyone. He saw that our deepest fears do not come from external threats, but from internal freedom. The power to choose is what makes us anxious, because when we choose, we accept the weight of the outcome. This leads to a central insight in his work. Anxiety is a teacher. It forces us to confront who we are. It pushes us to look inward and ask the most difficult questions. What do I believe? What do I want? What matters to me? In today's world, we are overwhelmed with choices. Jobs, ideologies, relationships, identities. The list goes on. And with every choice comes the pressure to make the right one. This endless pressure becomes paralyzing. And so we delay, we hesitate, we distract ourselves. Kierkegaard saw this pattern long before smartphones or social media existed. He called it despair. To live without acknowledging your anxiety is not to escape it. It is to bury it. But buried anxiety doesn't disappear. It festers. It turns into despair. And despair, for Kierkegaard, is the greatest sickness of all. Despair is not sadness. It is disconnection. It is the loss of self. It happens when we refuse to confront our freedom, when we choose safety over authenticity, when we mold ourselves to fit in, to avoid standing out, to avoid choosing. But there is another way. Kierkegaard didn't believe we should try to destroy anxiety. He believed we should move through it, confront it, understand it, let it guide us. Because anxiety, though painful, contains something sacred. It points us toward growth. To move through anxiety, Kierkegaard introduced the idea of passion. Passion is not a momentary desire. It is a life-defining force. It is what pulls us toward truth. Not universal truth, not scientific fact, but something deeper, subjective truth. Subjective truth is the truth that matters to you. It is what resonates at your core, what makes your heart beat faster, what gives your life meaning. Kierkegaard wrote, "The crucial thing is to find a truth which is truth for me." This is not selfishness. It is authenticity. It is the refusal to live someone else's life, and to live authentically requires a leap of faith. This leap is not blind. It is not irrational. It is the act of trusting your deepest convictions, even when the world does not understand. It is saying, "This is who I am. This is what I value. This is what I will live for." Kierkegaard knew this leap would not be easy. It demands courage. It demands vulnerability. And above all, it demands action. We live in a time when action feels harder than ever. We are bombarded with information, flooded with opinions, and constantly pulled away from ourselves. Kierkegaard saw this danger, and he warned us. Escapism is a slow poison. Mindless entertainment, constant busyness, addictions, distractions. These are not neutral. They are traps. They silence the voice inside us. They delay the choices we must make. To become ourselves, we must say no to distraction. We must sit in silence, reflect, ask ourselves hard questions. What do I fear? What do I desire? What am I avoiding? This is not easy, but it is necessary. Kierkegaard believed that greatness comes from solitude, not loneliness, but the kind of deep inner space where we reconnect with our essence. In that space, we hear the faint echo of who we were meant to be. In solitude, anxiety returns. But so does clarity, the voice that says, "You are not here to conform. You are here to become." This is the journey of self-realization, and it is a journey of choice. To live fully is to choose, even when it terrifies you, even when the outcome is unclear, even when no one else understands. This is how anxiety leads to greatness, not by being eliminated, but by being faced. When we meet anxiety with courage, it transforms. It becomes a signal, a compass, a call to rise. We are not here to play it safe. We are here to become the fullest expression of ourselves. This path is not always beautiful. It is not always rewarding, but it is real. And real life is worth everything. So ask yourself, what is the truth you would live for? What passion would you protect no matter what? What fear are you still running from? And then, make the leap. Kierkegaard believed that true meaning only emerges when we live in alignment with our innermost convictions. That kind of life doesn't promise comfort. It promises purpose. In a society that labels anxiety as a weakness, Kierkegaard saw it as a sign of consciousness, a sign that you are still capable of becoming. Do not wait for the fear to pass. It never will. Instead, let that fear move you forward. Let anxiety become your teacher. Let your choices become your voice. And let your life become your answer.